Welcome back to another video. This video I'm going to be cleaning out just about all of my animal pens. There is 2 fish tanks that I don't need to clean as I cleaned them last week, and there's the 1 fish tank that, if you saw the previous video, we are having pH issues, so it is quite green, but we're going to be hopefully dealing with that in this video as well. So let's go. So to start off, we are starting with Benjamin's area. Now, he does free range during this time. I planned it, so his free range time corresponded with the clean out time. So he's given half an acre to free roam around while we get this moved. Now, usually this pen is moved way more often, but when I got Benjamin, it was already severely overgrown. So I put him in there so he could eat down the grass before I was able to move it. So first we're getting absolutely everything out. This used to be my ferret's pen, so there is a few things in there that I could not see before to be able to get out due to how long the grass had gotten. Now, obviously I'm pretty pregnant, so moving things and doing stuff like this, I do get my partner to help because I'm a very independent woman, but there is only so much I can do, especially being heavily pregnant. Now, you will notice there is a few outfit changes because here in Australia, we are currently going through a heat wave. So there is only so much I could do each day before I either started feeling sick or it just got too much. Now, if you're wondering about the weather, for those in America, this is going to be the easiest way I can to explain it. We are having roughly 36 to 40 degree days, which works out to be between 90 and 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, that doesn't seem that hot. Where we live, there is a hole above the ozone layer, so we can physically feel our skin burning, whereas in America, you don't really feel that skin burn. Now, I'm going based off what one of my staff members has told me from when he went to America, is America is very hot, but you cannot feel the sun quite literally burning your skin when the UV is high as well. Whereas in Australia, you can quite literally feel the sun burning your skin. So after my partner pulled up all the old wire, I managed to use whatever was still in good condition to put on the bottom. However, I didn't film it because I was hot and bothered. And then we worked together to move the pen into its new place where it will stay for the next week before it needs to be moved again. Now that the pen's in place, I'm able to get a few of his toys back in. There is a few other things that need to go in, but they're still in the wash, so I didn't record that. Do you know how fun it is trying to be in a small area? Very pregnant, very hard to move. So he's got all his enrichment. I tried to find spots to hang it up, but obviously the hook on this toy was just not going to work. It was way too big. But I set up what I could before I got Benjamin to come back in. Now with him, it's best to just herd him around. He knows where to go. It took him a second to find his pen, but once we got in there, it was so much easier. We got some fresh hay because man loves his hay, and hay is an absolute essential for rabbits. Once the pen was ready to go, Benjamin was in. It was feeding time to keep Grumpy Boy happy. Next up, I'm moving on to doing Sully's tank. So I start by removing all the decor, including Sully himself. Now he's just placed into a plastic tub while I do this. Now I used to go through and hand scoop all this, but I figured it is time to just purchase a shop vac and do it that way. Putting in the new substrate, he is still getting used to this substrate, so I don't do that thick of a layer, and he loves to flick it forward. Adding in some new decor, I'm still waiting for it to be a little bit cooler so I can go out hunting for some good log branches to be able to properly set up his pen now that his quarantine is over. He absolutely loves this new setup, and I often find him literally just chilling with his head under a leaf. After all of that is finally back in place, I put his water bowl in and I put Grumpy Man himself back in there. He was very excited to be in his tank. He doesn't really like being handled, but he loves to explore his area. Next up, we are doing Baloo and Bagheera's tank. This tank is definitely overdue. However, we did have a bit of a hiccup after I managed to vacuum everything out. I realised I didn't have enough substrate to be able to redo it. So I vacuumed up as much as I could. Now they do have this little glass slider at the front, so they can have a deeper substrate to be able to dig and hide and all of that. However, Sully's broke, so he does not have one. Okay, so now I'm just putting in the substrate that I had left, full knowing that I was still going to have to go to the shops, and today was the hottest day of all. It was 40 degrees. It was so hot, I did not want to go, but we got it, set up their tank, and got those two in before I left. So we just had to put the decor and the rest of the substrate in, and some new enrichment. Again, I'm waiting for it to be a little bit cooler before I do some more. Now on to the ferret's pen. I waited until there was a cool breeze because it was just so unbearably hot that I really didn't want to do this, but it's got to be done. So first I start by scooping up their poop, resetting their beds, their tunnels, and then fix the tunnels that they have broken. This time I decided to add a lot more duct tape and some more cable ties to provide better support. Now you will see I am removing the old ones, getting the new zip ties up and reinforcing just about the rest of the tunnel system. They do have another little area over here that they constantly break, so there was a lot of duct tape added to this one and quite a few more zip ties added to hopefully be able to support them better. But I do need to go buy more duct tape because I ran out, so we're doing what we can. So if you can't tell, I'm a little bit scared of spiders. Usually huntsmans don't bother me that much, but today I was definitely not in the mood for a huntsman. So we are doing Cleo's tank now. She is my children's python. She is still in her small area as she's not big enough for her new one. So we vacuum everything out, spray it down with some vinegar and water, wipe it all down, get it nice and shiny again, and then add in some new substrate ready for her to explore again. Now, whenever I do Cleo's areas, I do like to set it up a little bit different to the time before, just for enrichment purposes. Now, she will be going in a bigger tank soon, just not quite yet. Next up, we have got the hermit crabs. Now, typically you don't really need to clean them out. They're pretty self-sufficient, except for their waters. But this time, I really wanted to make it a little bit deeper. However, I do have one under at the moment molting. So I can only add 3 centimeters of new substrate every single week. In Australia, adding a substrate is a little bit different to America. We have a 1:8 ratio. So 1 part of the mulch stuff and then 7 parts of sand. So getting that mixed up, it's not very fun. Tipping it in and spreading it out. Now it turns out I actually have 2 crabbies up at the moment. I did not know because their shells are very, very similar. So it is very hard to tell them apart. Getting in their water bowls, this side will be the fresh water and this side will be the salt water. Getting in the fresh water is quite fun, but first we've got to set up their little gutter guard and some rocks so they are able to climb in and out. Now before I add water, this one is already pre-treated, setting up their vines before I add the water, because apparently that's what I decided to do this time. Usually I get all the water done before I even think about adding all the decor, because it's just so annoying trying to work around the decor. They've got lots of climbing spaces, new shells, all of that. And now I'm making up the salt water. So this is a marine salt that actually makes the salt water. Getting the lights turned on, and we've got some happy crabbies. Okay, so now it's time to continue on with the battle of this fish tank. So we did a water change last week and put a pH down in the tank. I went and got the water tested. The pH is still the exact same. So we're doing another 20% water change, adding in new water now and then new products. So we're doing another one of the pH down. And then I also took the filters out this time, so it's going to cycle for 2 days before I put new filters in. And we're also trying a new product called Clarity, which should help clean up the green water. The issue isn't actually that there is algae in the tank. There is no algae, it is just the pH is way too high. We're not sure how I got it so high. I literally didn't do anything. And then I decided I would change the filters in my partner's tank as well. And then onto the chicken coop. Now this coop does have 4 chickens and 6 ducks, so it does get dirty really quickly. I also haven't cleaned it out in a while because I am heavily pregnant. I work full time on a very physical job, and my chickens and ducks free range all day except for at night. So I wasn't super concerned. It wasn't the top of my priority list. I've never let it get this bad before, but I was exhausted and can only do so much. The nesting boxes didn't need to be changed, but I did add in some fresh bedding for them to help encourage them to keep laying there. So that is pretty much it for the cleaning. The stone gecko and the green tree frogs are both in bioactive tanks, so I don't really need to do a whole lot for their enclosures. And Rio's enclosure was done like 4 days ago when I moved her into her new area. So it does not need to be done at all. It is so hot. I have had enough, but that was spaced out over 3 days, and thank God it's done, because today's only going to be 27 degrees, but tomorrow is going to be 36 and really humid. So I'm definitely glad that all of that is out of the way. Thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. I am going to be setting up my new betta fish tank.